Let's get the party started.
Oh, baby!
When was the last time you shit your pants?
You think I'm a goddamn fool?
I shit my pants last night.
It's a beautiful planet.
Well, it's a moon.
For sure.
I'm sick and tired of all this bullshit. Put that in your package, folks.
What's up, everybody? Josh, the Clearing Waivers podcast, coming at you for another episode of the Clearing Waivers podcast. Hope everybody's week has been really good. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you had a fine Mother's Day. Shout out to all the mothers out there. Happy belated Mother's Day from the Clearing Waivers podcast. We all wouldn't be here without a mother, so we always appreciate the mothers. Tonight, we've got some Royals to talk about. We've kind of put the Royals a little bit to the back burner, and with a week that they've had, they probably deserve to be there a little bit longer. But seeing as how most of us are being heard through Royals Review, we should probably talk a little bit more Royals. So tonight is all Royals talk. We're going to find plenty of things to talk about. There are quite a few things to talk about. We're going to try to hit as many as we can in this hour. I think I saw last scoring update I got one against the Tigers tonight was 7-0. So nothing beats getting absolutely ran out of town at your own home stadium than going to Detroit and getting your shit kicked around. So a lot of anger in the fan base that we're going to address a little bit tonight. So we've got that. We got a new segment to kind of roll off the truck and debut tonight as well in the Clearing the Waivers, and then we're going to get into some shenanigans. I think I do that little shimmy thing every time I do that. Get into some shenanigans. Somebody should really think about changing that.
If only we knew somebody to come up with that.
Who knows? Who knows how to do that? But I hope you guys are doing well. Brian and Kitty, I hope you're doing well. Hope your weekends were good. I'm not going to ask you about it because we've got to get to some stuff. So without further ado, let's clear the waivers.
We're clearing the waivers.
Let's clear some waivers. Royals stink all of a sudden. Sure seems to be the case. I think they've lost 9 of the last 10 into division foes. So not great to watch on all arounds, but we're going to kind of talk about some of the things that we've seen from the Royals this past week, some of the bad things that we've seen about them more so. But Brian, I'm going to start with you. What was your big, the thing that you've seen over the last week or two?
I mean, the most painful thing was that Cleveland series. That was kind of the first sign of bad things starting with this team. They dropped one couple in Minnesota, but you thought we're coming back home against these division rivals. It's time to show that this team's legit, this team's real. And then the first couple nights, they just have gut-wrenching, kick in the nuts losses where they had leads. The bullpen's kind of been there for them, been solid all year long, been really good in one-run games all year long. And then that series happened, and it's just every night they found a different way to give up a lead. Monday night, they gave up 5 in the 7th when we experimented our first time with Junis in the bullpen. He gives up 2 dingers. Not a great start, but you think, okay, that's just one game. He's got to get used to it out there. Go to game 2, 7-3. You give up a 3-run in the 6th when Holland couldn't bail out Minor with the bases loaded and 1 out. But still, it's 3-3. We battle until we don't. And then in the 4-run 8th off Stomont and Zuber in the second game, kicked in the nuts. Once again, the offense just stopped doing things in the back half of that. And then Wednesday, okay, let's recover, right? We got Singer on the mound, 4-0 lead after 5. We got this, right? Nope. We're going to take down Bieber? Nope. We're not going to take down Bieber. 3-run 6 with all the controversy, the Angel Hernandez bullshit. Junis gives up another homer to Jose Ramirez. Who's the one guy we said we shouldn't let beat us anymore on Cleveland? Jose Ramirez.
Josh Naylor.
And then Josh Naylor put the nail in the coffin off a waiter.
He's 1B, Josh Naylor.
But, man, it was – as you can see, there's a lot of names in that bullpen that let us down in that series, and they kind of continue to let us down when we kind of came in this year thinking, coming off last year, it was a big strength of this team. One of the better parts of 2020's short season was the bullpen. I had some new characters out there, some new older characters out there, and they're just starting to get beat up, and you just can't trust those guys. And you go into that Chicago series and we're all looking around each other, asking each other, like, who do you trust in this bullpen right now? Because I don't know who it is. Like
Right.
Scott Barlow has answered the bell pretty often, and he for good reason. We use him in clutch situations. Matheny trusts him for good reason. I think we kind of joked about, we probably trusted him the least of a threesome of guys that we threw out before the year started, and said, but Matheny obviously trusts Barlow over Stamont, and I can't even remember who the other guy we talked about was, but Barlow's answered the bell. He's really been the only one that's been consistent out there. Other than that, you've seen some guys with some shaky outings, and you have big time doubts now when you go to the bullpen. And when you add to that the fact that, they just put up the stat, I think tonight, that in this losing streak, they've been outscored 32-6 from the 6th inning on. And it's just like once that, collapse starts in the bullpen, our lineup is doing nothing to pick them up. And it's just bad to worse, and it's tough to watch right now. And you go into that White Sox series and kind of expecting the worst, and God damn it, they gave us the worst. They just were never really in any of those games, and it's just been pretty struggling to watch this team lately. And I think we talked about when the going was good, we said, and Matheny said, we feel like we're not even playing our best baseball. We're not clicking on all cylinders. Well, we also didn't see them click on 0 cylinders, and nobody on the team is helping them out. Starting pitching's been bad, bullpen's been bad, lineup's been bad. They can't come together at all to pull it together to win a game right now. And it's baseball. It's part of it. They're gonna come out of it at some point, but man, it's tough to watch right now. But those gut wrenching losses were the worst for me the last week.
I think
the
that's
Bieber
really fair.
Yeah, the Bieber one is the one that just stands out to me. It's just you're up on Bieber 4-0. And Singer was cruising, and then just the wheels fell off so hard so quickly in that inning. It just, once they started putting guys on base and scoring runs, it just, that feeling of it, oh, this is not good at all. I don't know if we're gonna stop this from going the wrong way, and it just never happened. It couldn't stop it.
It's that quicksand feeling, I think.
Yeah, very much so.
Shane Falco from the Replacements narrowed it down,
right.
but basically, like, you get stuck and you start to feel like you're getting a little bit stuck, and you start to expect it to be quicksand, so you start to expect to sink, and then it's just downhill from there. You need that guy that's going to break that cycle and get over that hump, and I think that's only going to come with time, especially with Singer. Like, he's got that fire in him. I 100% think that he's going to run into trouble, and eventually he's going to get over the hump and be able to shove. You did mention, like, he was cruising. It does seem like every time social media starts talking about how good he's pitching, then it all falls to shit. So let's all get very, like, group mentality and collectively not brag about Brady Singer until he's done for the night. Yeah,
we treat all his starts like a no-hitter.
Absolutely.
Nobody talk about this.
Yep, 100%.
Nobody talk about this.
Not even like Royals pitching seems to be doing well tonight. Not even that. I don't need any of that. But it always seems like Brady Singer is shoving until he's not, and that is one thing that's probably going to come with time. But right now it's just not clicking to stop the bleeding and get out of the inning. But I have faith that they'll be able to do that. We'll see how it goes from here. Kitty, what's the worst thing that you've seen over the last couple of weeks?
One of the things I've noticed is it probably goes hand in hand when once you see a team start to lose, you start noticing a lot more things that they're doing, just little things that go wrong. And it's one of the things is lack of fundamentals at times. Case in point was a couple of the things that happened on Sunday's game against the White Sox. I mean, that game kind of got out of hand early, but there was a moment, it was 1st and 3rd, 1 out, fly ball up center field. Michael A. Taylor airmails it to home. No reason. The ball was hit plenty deep enough to score the run. He airmails it home. Guy gets to second base. Now you have man on second with 2 outs. Next guy up hits a double or single down the line, and I don't think that guy would have scored from first on that hit.
Who was it? Was it Jose Abreu that advanced? I thought whoever it was like, he has no business advancing on a sac fly to center field.
Right. I can't remember who advanced second base, but there's no way he would have scored from first base on the next came out. And so that right there, you just gave up a run for no reason. I mean, just not getting the guy at home. It was a close play, if you want to call it that, but Salvi also came up, cut the ball off a couple feet in front of the plate. And so it's just, you're not going to get him out. So that
Yeah.
that type of play is just it's unnecessary. Just take your losses, take that 1-run loss, go down 2-1, stay there. And then there's another play later where just I think it was Lopez doing a relay throw from left field.
Yeah.
Short hop Salvi on a throw from just outside the infield. I mean, that's a 120-foot throw. Hit Salvi in the chest, man.
Mm-hmm.
You had him beat by 10 feet.
Yeah.
That throws just average. You get the out at home. So those kind of things, I feel like, I don't know if it's a issue with the players pressing and those small things that you're supposed to do right. You're trying to make the big play, and then you miss the small play.
Yep.
So I feel like, I don't know if it's something I've just noticed recently because of the losing streak, or it's happening all year, but it's those things just start to grind on you when a team's not playing well overall.
100%.
There's no question you focus on that stuff more in losses than you do. I mean, if someone covers that up by hitting a bomb late that wins the game, you forget all about that mental fart by Michael A. Taylor. You know, it's like that kind of crap is just like you just start thinking of like, oh, the Junis homer, the blah blah blah, blah blah blah. It's just all this stuff adds up to losses, and when it's an L on the board, everyone's in the crosshairs. You're all game to be judged.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, George Brett said something about it before the game. It was basically like when you're in a hole like this, you're in a drought like this, you're on a cold streak and losing streak like this, you start to press a little bit, you start trying too hard, and he wants you to try easier. And
Right.
for whatever that's worth,
A fun phrase.
yeah, it's I think I retweeted it with the gif of Kunu from Forgetting Sarah Marshall. It was like, no, do less. When he's trying to surf, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like gibberish. Sounds like absolute gibberish whenever it comes to that.
Maybe we start happy hours before the game starts.
I'm into that. I mean, I think
kind of loosen them up.
100% what George Brett would do in that situation.
Just a round of fireball shots in the clubhouse.
100%.
There we go.
And there's been plenty of articles around the web. Both, I think Royals Review covered it a few times. But it's no secret that this Royals team is not great defensively.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're defensively in most metrics are one of the worst in baseball. Not your typical Dayton Moore team, but that's going to kind of come whenever you add a Carlos Santana for his on-base percentage and Jorge Soler starts playing meaningful innings out in right field. Nicky Lopez might get to him in a little bit, also playing very, very badly. So it's just one of those things. You start getting into guys like Whit Merrifield and Hunter Dozier, who are our utility guys. They don't get any like substantial innings and experience in their positions that they're out there most of the time in, then you kind of start to run into these situations. I think fundamentally they could do a lot better. Obviously, like Kitty was saying, and that's 100%. I think it's a product of both, maybe not getting enough reps in their positions because they're used as utility men, or I should say, it's also a product of pressing too much, trying to hit 6-run home runs, trying to make the great highlight reel defensive throws from center field that you have no business making, Michael Taylor. So I certainly see where you're headed with that, and I certainly agree. But that, to me, not the worst thing that I've seen over the last couple of weeks. Let me tell you what the worst thing that I've seen over the last few weeks is. It's fans. It's these damn Royals fans that I'm constantly running into. Yeah, I'm one of them. I'm absolutely one of these guys. But I've classified 3 fans that make these cold streaks so much worse. And that's number 1, the shooting star fans. Everybody's burning brightly, especially right out of the gate. They're from spring training to, I'd say, the end of May, usually for Royals fans, that they burn brightly. If they're rolling, the Royals are winning. Boy, let's start comping. Let's start talking about playoffs 20 games in. Let's start talking about the 2015 Royals and how they stack up against the 2021 Royals. This is great. Oh, they're going to drop 9 out of 10 for against division rivals. Oh, blow it all up. Fire Dayton Moore, fire Mike Minor into the sun, and trade Danny Duffy, Whit Merrifield, anybody of value. Get them all out. Blow this up. Let's start over from Jump Street. I know Charlie's really, really into it as well. But these shooting star fans, 100%, they burn bright. They set everything around them on fire, and then they fade into the sunset, crash into the sea, and they stop paying attention at the beginning of June. They might show up maybe at the end of September with all these call-ups just to get a little bit more hype and get that hope renewed back. But those Shooting Star fans are 100% some that make this whole losing streak worse for sure. I think the second category are the Debbie Downers. They came into this season, they knew this team would be awful, and they can't wait to tell you how right they were. Every win is good luck / overachieving. They'd rather be right than watch their team win. So they get off by saying, "Oh, I told you so." They're awful. Usually they're the most vocal when teams are losing, just rubbing salt on the wounds just so they can, be right once. And they'd rather be right than watch their team win. Drives me nuts.
Disgusting.
I don't need their Debbie Downer pessimistic voice telling us how smart they are in the midst of a 9-game sweepage. I don't need it.
Wet
Get it out.
blankets.
Wet
Yeah, that's true.
blankets. The other problem with them is they really never go away. They just kind of quiet down.
They just wait for that next 3-game
Wait for
losing
it.
streak.
Yep. If Royals are riding high, they're like, "Oh, what about that at bat from X player? Or why can't Y player get balls over the plate?" Shut up. Just enjoy it. Why are you in this fan base? Why are you root for any team if you can't enjoy the good parts? Whatever. Third category are the online coaches.
Oh,
I know why player X is not succeeding and player Y is succeeding, instead of just realizing that 20-game sample size is not going to start a trend. They didn't figure something out because they're doing something. They're having a little bit of success at the plate. Nicky Lopez, they didn't figure something out. They are the same player they were last year. Period. And your coaching is not going to be the reason that, these fans are going to be smarter. So get out of my life with that. Get online coach bullshit. Get it out.
yeah.
There's one more.
Therapeutic.
I'm just, I don't need it. I got 9 out of 10 losses on my conscience already. I don't need your stupid takes. I don't need them. It's a long damn season. There's going to be ebbs. There's going to be flows. There's going to be peaks. There's going to be valleys. We're in the midst of a very deep valley, a crevasse, if you will. It's very hard to get out of it. We don't need the naysayers telling us that that the world's on fire. We don't need it.
And I mean, we talk about all the time avoiding that horrible start in April. I mean, that's usually what bad to average Royals teams have done in the past. And when you look at, they had an awesome April this year and they've got a horrible streak they're on right now. If they can put an end to this anytime soon, they are not in this hole that they're always worried about being in that you cannot climb out of. They're still somewhat in this race right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can stop the bleeding and kind of get things back on track, this team can do everything that we've talked about. And that doesn't mean they're going to be World Series contenders or even playoff contenders. I don't think all three of us are considered optimistic for saying they'd even, contend until the end of fall, and they fall short. They wouldn't make the playoffs probably, but we thought that they'd be competitive all year long. And I still think all that stuff's on the board. I think this lineup can still produce. It's just not doing it right now. I love the starting rotation, the guys that they got in. They're not performing right now. I think they will. So yes, I'm with you. I don't want to hear about this. You saw them shooting stars. They're also called fair weather fans. I don't want them. Get them out. Get out.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a little too early for the sky is falling situation.
Yeah,
100%.
Go with just because of this 10-game stretch right now. So,
and I mean, yeah, it's also too early to say that they're playoff bound. Like Brian was saying, I mean, they're not. It's not time to plan the parade route. It's plan to, take stock of what's going on. It's
and
time
that doesn't mean you can't enjoy them winning.
Right.
I
mean, be fair on both sides. You can be pessimistic and optimistic. You can realize their flaws, while also celebrating the fact that they're still winning. It's easy. It's easy to do, and it's way more enjoyable.
Just don't live and die with every game.
Yeah.
That's basically all it is.
Damn season.
Yes, it is.
Season. Speaking of kind of taking stock, we've got a new segment that we're going to incorporate tonight. It's called "What Have You Done for Me Lately?" Where we're basically going to, each one of us has one player that has been recently doing their job and one player that has not been doing their job. Like we said, there's a yin and yang. There's a balance on this. We can be optimistic by also realizing that this team is flawed and there's players that aren't doing their job currently. I mean, they won't be necessarily. I mean, we'll talk about that in a little bit, but it just means that they're not doing it right now, not getting the job done right now. So Brian, I'm gonna have you start us off. This was your segment, so I'm gonna have you kick us off and show us how it's done here. What's your who's it done for me lately?
Well, I'm going to start off with the good here, and that's Carlos Santana. And since we brought him in, he has been everything that you wanted him to be coming in. And there were some people that would question maybe his down year last year, thinking maybe his bat slowed down, his average was bad last year, but he's come right back, and he's right at or above his career averages all across the board. And he's been everything you want from him. The teammates love him. This year, he's batting 259. He's a career 249 hitter. On base percentage this year, 383 compared to 367 career.
383, baby.
OPS plus is 133 compared to a 120 on his career. I mean, he's the guy that always gets on base and occasionally will give you a pop. And when he has hit his dingers this year, they've been in big situations a lot of times. So he has done exactly what they wanted to do, bringing him in. Great job, Dayton, going and identifying that guy and getting him signed up before anybody went after anybody. It seemed like we went after Carlos Santana and got him and got him locked up. So you're doing your job, buddy. Keep it up. The guy I need to pick it up a little bit is Jorge Soler. And we all know he's a streaky hitter. He's always been a streaky guy his entire career. And I can say at least he's not looking like those first couple of weeks of the year where every slider he swung out of the zone and whiffed, and it just looked like he was lost. He's not that guy right now, but he's still not putting the ball in play like we need him to put it in play. And you're talking about number 3, number 4, number 5 type hitter. We just can't afford that right now because Witt's doing his job. Benny is now doing his job. Carlos is doing his job. We need you to do your job behind those guys, and that's driving them in. That is your job, and he's just not doing it. He's got a 276 on base percentage this year. His K percentage is kind of right on line. It's at 29.8. That's kind of what he is his whole career. His hard hit percentage, somehow he is in 99th percentile of hard hit rate percentage, even with a 191 batting average.
That's crazy.
So, but when you look at the actual numbers, he's got the same number of home runs as Ryan O'Hearn and about 100 more plate appearances, and we just can't have that. No. So we need him to pick it up. We know he can get hot, and he can turn this around in a real hurry, but I need him to do it. It's kind of weird. His barrel percentage is down at 6%, while his hard hit percentage went up 8%. So those are kind of weird stats. The barrel percentage is a combination of launch angle and exit velocity, whereas your hard hit, it doesn't matter where you hit it. You could hit it a ground ball or straight up in the air if you got exit velocity on it. So they're kind of two different metrics, and you can kind of interpret them how you want. But they love to talk about on the broadcast how hard these guys are hitting the ball these days. They're just not getting in play, and I don't know if it's going to translate anytime soon. But God dang, I need him to hit some balls in play or over the fence.
Last I saw, he was hitting them very hard, but the ground ball rate, I think, was very, very high. That he's usually used to. Do you have that number at all? Oh, I've got it here.
I don't have it in front of me. So
currently at a 41.9%, whereas I guess his career average is 41.5. So
just hitting too many fly balls, maybe just high launch angle, hard hit balls. Possibly.
It's weird because you look at his numbers. I mean, it's kind of on par with the rest of his career. It's just the other, actual results numbers just aren't coming through. So that's why you
hitting him.
Yeah, and I like his swing percentage outside the zone is really not that much different than usual. It's almost a little better right now, actually, than career. So, I mean, I think he's, his play discipline's okay. He just can't get that thing to line out where he needed to.
Yep. Launch angles average of 15.1 degrees. Expected batting average is 236. So that's still not exactly where you would want it.
Yeah.
But that's at least somewhat more doable, and it wouldn't feel.
I would rather it be 236 than 191 for sure. Yeah.
There's usually more dingers attached when you're hitting the ball this hard.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. The other thing I was wanting to bring up was Carlos Santana. I remember when he signed his deal, people did not like the dollar amount. It's like 2 years, was it 18 million?
Sounds right.
2 years, 17 and a half, average annual value of 8.8. I think he's well worth that, what he's doing currently.
Oh yeah, if he stays with his career numbers, career averages with that on base percentage, that's going to be worth the money.
And really, I,
Watch.
I would think that Soler makes more next year. I would think maybe. And then Carlos Santana isn't nearly the liability at first base potentially either. He is one of the worst defensive first basemen in the league. He has made some decent plays, but he's just not, you know,
Just is it the range? Just no good range.
I think the range and yeah, it's probably like the zone rating or whatever. But that being said, I would still like to have both of them on the roster.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see them extend Soler regardless. He'd be pretty cheap at the moment, I think. He's still hitting the ball hard. And like we said, there's not a lot of metrics that kind of disagree that his numbers should be worse or where they are. But yeah, hopefully, I mean, he's a dude, like you said, streaky hitter. He can absolutely carry an offense on his back for like 5 games by himself.
Mm-hmm.
And with Santana, Benintendi, with Merrifield, even Salvi Perez right now is hitting really well. If any of those dudes get on, Soler's up. There's always a good chance for fireworks. So
Yep.
Hopefully he gets running. I think the offense will have to run through him for a little bit here shortly. But I'm going to go next with mine. The guy doing his job currently is Chris Bubich. After he was called up, especially after that disaster Lynch start that Kitty was referring to earlier, he came in, kind of picked up the pieces, went 5 2/3, didn't strike a lot of guys out, but did not allow that many base runners. I think he only allowed 1 hit, he walked 4, but he was generating all kinds of weak contact. That's kind of what he does. He's very good at generating weak contact. He's not going to strike a bunch of dudes out. Granted, most of these are coming, most of his, sample size this year is coming from that start. So is White Sox with a 9-0 lead, you kind of start to wonder how much they were trying to just get on the bus and get the hell into the hotel, as opposed to really rock Bubich's world at that point. But I would think in a division game, there's somewhat of a rivalry still there. I got to think that they're still swinging as hard as they can. But generating weak contact. Velocity on the fastball is down a tick from 2020 so far, but his secondary pitch velocity is up a tick. So it's kind of interesting that they're kind of meeting in the middle, potentially headed towards that, which is, to me, a little bit more deceiving. Like it's kind of like that Greinke fastball that's 89 miles an hour, looks like a changeup. Kind of into that idea. So if that's where he's headed, fine. If not, whatever. Just keep bringing the results, whatever you need to do. His curveball is generating a 50% whiff rate. I'll 100% take that. That was his best pitch last season. His whiff percentage in general is up. So I'm very interested in seeing how they kind of move forward with him, both the results that he's going to be able to produce as well as the role that he's going to have. Matheny kind of teased that he's potentially at least worked his way into the conversation to be in the rotation. I don't know what you've seen from any other guys that could potentially say, nah, there's no way Bubich is going to improve things in this rotation. So why not? Let's give him a shot, see what happens. If Daniel Lynch is blown up again by the Tigers in his start coming up, then we can really start talking about Bubich in that rotation, seeing what happens with Lynch, and then back down to Omaha, see what he can work through. But
and we got a doubleheader coming up with the White Sox, so
yeah,
you could easily use him there and get away with it.
True story. But yeah, from what I've seen the last week or so, Bubich is actually doing his job. Saved the bullpen quite a bit, ate some innings there for the Royals, and pitched well overall. So well done, Chris Bubich. You did your job. Thank you. Nicky Lopez, you are not doing your job. Not even at all. Not even a little bit. Your job is to get on base and play good defense at shortstop. And right now you are doing neither. Neither is happening. Over the last 3 weeks, 460 OPS with a 269 OBP. His fielding is -5 defensive runs saved and a -17.4 UZR per 150.
Ouch.
It is your job to field well and to get on base. We don't expect power. At this point, we don't even expect average. Just get on base. Don't hurt us offensively and be an absolute asset on defense. And right now you're doing neither. We need you to pick it up, bud. We're not expecting the world from you. So just meet us at the point where we expect you. It's not a lot. Just do it.
Yeah,
Nicky Lopez, do your job.
It's really rough when Nicky Lopez, his glove's not working.
It's really bad.
Real black hole in the lineup and defensively. That's you cannot have that from him at shortstop.
And not a shortstop, period. Like it's
Right.
such a valuable position. You can't have that hold defensively. And I mean, I've said this before. I have nothing against Nicky Lopez. I just think his ceiling is limited. We think that he could be a fine player, a utility guy, maybe even a second baseman. You don't really expect much out of that position. So just plug him there and hope he doesn't hurt you too much, type of thing. But I mean, you just can't have this on both sides. Last year was somewhat redeemable because you were a Gold Glove finalist, even though you were an absolute liability at the plate. And then this year you come out swinging, had a really good start, and then since then it's been worse than last year. So it just can't happen that way.
Devil's advocate, we do need to say caveat here. He spent his entire offseason and spring training trying to win that second base job that he had. Basically, it was his to lose, as we talked about. And then right before the season starts, Mondesi goes to the IL, and he finds out that he needs to play shortstop every day. So I'll give him a little bit of a pass there. I mean, he grew up as a shortstop.
Right.
That should have come natural to him, but he's basically transitioned to a second baseman at this point, and he's only filling in shortstop on emergency only at this point. So you have to think, if you get everybody back together, and I'm just assuming they'll shift him back to second base, where he was very good defensively at second base. I have no reason to doubt that he can't be a premier second base defensively, where if you can have a shortstop playing second base, a decent shortstop playing second base, you can be above average at second base defensively. So he can go from not doing his job to doing his job pretty easily by just moving to the other side of the bag, in my opinion.
Do we give him another 30 games to figure that out and to get reacquainted with second base then?
Absolutely not. I think that comes back to him immediately, because that's what he'd been training to do. So I don't see any reason why he wouldn't be a very good defender at second base once that happens.
I don't know. He had plenty of action last year when Mondesi went. He was hurt 60 games last year, Mondesi. Wasn't he playing shortstop in those games?
I don't remember.
It's fact check time.
Who cares?
Just saying. We can't just keep giving him the benefit of the doubt here. He's got to figure it out.
Well, not at shortstop.
Well, I mean, at any point would be great. At any position would be fantastic.
Like you said, he was a Gold Glove caliber second baseman last year. So
he
can pick it up right where he left off last year. And
turns out I'm a big dumb animal. He had 4 games at shortstop last year.
Thank you very much.
He did have
So
33 at shortstop in 2019, though. So
glad you looked that up.
not nothing.
Good times.
Who cares?
So he had more games at shortstop in 2019 than this year. So what the hell? Get it together.
Get it together, Nikki. That's all we're asking. Kitty, what have you seen? Who needs to do their job?
Who needs to do their job is Michael A. Taylor. These last weeks, oh Jesus, 7 for 36 with 17 strikeouts. That's not gonna get it done.
No.
194, 237. Shockingly enough, his slugging is below his on base at 222.
That's impressive.
That's good stuff. So yeah, solid 459 OPS. This is easily the worst case scenario of Michael A. Taylor hitting that we were all, like most of the fans were fearful of, was coming in when we signed him to play center field every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like, we just basically signed Bubba Starling, the major league version that's been given way too long of a leash, and now he's just going to do the same thing that Bubba could have done in center field for 50 games with more money. Awesome.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Really worried about this becoming the norm for him. I mean, he got off to that tremendous start the first 2 weeks. We felt pretty good. Obviously,
Really, the first game.
Yeah.
That's true. Knew it wasn't going to keep going, but did not see this. He's definitely in the valley of the whole entire team that we're in right now. He might be the lowest of the low of all the guys.
He's definitely like at that point where you start to question, like, are we really going to give him the entire year in center field, as they talked about? Like, we want him to give him every day in center field. You just start to wonder, like, if this continues, is his defense really that valuable? Because I saw it again tonight. I don't know if you guys have really picked up on this at all, but he does a really good job of sprinting and getting to a ball. And if it's like right on the verge of him, like fully laying out and laying it all out to make the catch, like we've seen through the years of Alice Gordon and Lorenzo Kane and Gerard Dyson, like just lay it all out to make the play. At the last second, he just like pulls up to try to save it from going past him and doesn't fully commit to trying to dive to save the ball and to catch the ball. I mean, it seems like he's just right on the verge of giving you that awesome 5-star web gem that everyone was talking about, and then right at the end he pulls up on it, and it's like, just go all out. I don't care if you miss it. I don't want to see you dive. I don't even think they're business decisions. I think he just gets freaked out about the ball getting by him if he misses it and screwing up and looking like an asshole. But I want to see him just
he's
give
trying easier, Brian.
Yes.
True. That's
And
definitely
as
right.
Kitty's talked about before, we got so spoiled watching Alice Gordon and watching Lorenzo Kane for years, just get the balls no one else should be able to get to and actually finish off the play. You see these guys that kind of get to the ball, but they don't have enough to make the finish the play. So it's just, I've seen a few of those plays where I'm just like, dang, I think he could have got that ball if he just lays out.
Yeah,
I'm spoiled.
It's incredibly frustrating as Royals fans now. Kane out there for so many years and Gordon out there, just that made every catch seemingly, and now like that ball was in the air forever. Why were you not underneath it? What's wrong with you? How dare
It's like
you?
Packers fans talking about quarterbacks. You know who you are. If you're listening, you know who you are. I will say, what if I told you that Michael A. Taylor is on pace to have his best defensive year yet?
I believe it. I
He's
believe it.
had 3 defensive runs saved. His
He's made
UZR
some
per
good
150
plays.
is 17.
He's made some good plays. We're spoiled. He's just not making the
Yeah.
absolute phenomenal plays that we expect.
Yeah,
every
do your
Royals
job and
outfielder.
make the 5-star plays, Michael A. Taylor.
I mean,
he needs to if he's going to OPS 459.
Yes.
I mean, he literally had 2 defensive runs saved the first game, right?
Yes, that was
Isn't that how that's calculated?
I think that's how it is. I mean, he might have lost one here and there with that White Sox game, but yeah.
True.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Who's getting
And
done?
moving to the guy getting done, Benintendi. I called him washed 2 weeks ago. What happened since I called him washed? 357, 413, 548. The solid 961 OPS.
Locked
Wow.
So I don't know. Hopefully Michael Taylor now turns it on after I called him out. Because hopefully it doesn't do the same thing where we just go even Steven and one guy goes up, one guy goes down.
Thank you for doing that.
But Benintendi, I was a little worried because he had a pretty bad 2020, and the Red Sox paid the Royals to take him off their hands.
Yep.
So that's always a small red flag for a major league team. But he's kind of turned it on since that first 2 weeks of the year, and just he's getting hits. I mean, maybe it's an empty 357, but he's swinging the bat well, and hopefully just keep it going. Doesn't need to be obviously a 961 OPS good, but getting in that 775 to 800 range would be all you'd ask for from your number 2 hitter.
For sure.
Slot into the lineup all year. So
Just keep getting on base for when Soler gets hot. Then his home runs count for 2 or 3 instead of 1.
Salvi too.
Yep.
100%.
The
more
fun,
than solo home runs.
right. The fun thing about that Benintendi trade, anyone want to take a guess at Franchi Cordero's current, let's say his OPS?
Gotta think it's around like 600. I feel like
Okay.
you for him.
It's
I'll go-
428.
Whoa.
428. He has a 37% strikeout rate.
How many at bats for him?
Didn't he hit like 2 dingers in one game the other day?
This says he has 0, but I think it was some kind of extra base hit that was a game winner.
Gotcha.
81 plate appearances so far.
Yikes.
Not good.
High ceiling, low floor player in Cordero.
The thing is like his floor was so low because of his injury history. They talk about his athleticism was basically going to be like when he's on the field, he's going to produce.
Yep.
Not so much. Not so much, guys. Not so much. So, I mean, yeah, that deal's looking better and better depending on what Khalil Lee was. I did hear a rumor that potentially he could see some action in New York soon.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to keep an eye on that to kind of really see who won that trade. But yeah, so far, Benintendi trade looking really good. And going back to you called them wash 2 weeks ago. I'm going to have to go back and see what our batting average is of players that we either talk up or start talking shit on, and then what they do over the next 2 week period, because it's very good how the opposite relationship occurs.
Yeah, I believe Stallmont was mentioned last week.
Stallmont was very much
Real,
mentioned last week.
oh,
I'm so sorry, Danny.
try
Yeah.
to pull the collar on that one.
Brian put the kiss of death on Danny Duffy. Yep. I think I said something about Daniel Lynch.
Oh yeah, he has banged the door down. Josh forced himself
He
into this
banged it
rotation.
Oh boy. Well, we'll see. We'll see how that all goes. So keep an eye on let's see, Benintendi, Michael A. Taylor, Carlos Santana, Jorge Soler, and Chris Bubich and Nicky Lopez. Could be a fun ball street to work on next week. We'll have to see how the week turns out. But
Solar breakout coming.
that's right.
There it is.
That's right. Look out, world. So yeah, that's what we got for clearing the waivers. Hopefully our karma and what we're releasing into the universe does something and snaps them out of this. I haven't seen the score yet, but I'm just assuming that Jorge Soler hit 3 home runs since this podcast started recording.
Great night.
But we'll see how that goes. But we'll get to the shenanigans right after this. And we're back. Time for some shenanigans, starting off with the DFA, in which we will do that right now.
It's time to play DFA.
Haven't done DFA in a hot minute, at least not straight up. So I'm going to take the reins on this one. I prepared a Royals themed DFA question for you folks. I should have a pen and paper, but I don't at the moment. So I'm going to have to keep track another way.
For all the fans here to yell at me when I can't get answers right. Anyway.
Well, I think this one has some pretty good potential for you, Kitty. I think you're in decent shape here. So I need you guys to come up with the last 10 opening day starting pitchers.
Oh.
Now, I'm not going to give you any clues, but I've got some prepared for you here. But yeah, let's start off prepared.
Okay.
Yeah, let's start off with Kitty here. Kitty, what's your first guess here?
I'll go with Keller.
How'd you get him? Keller is correct. He was opening day starter of 2021 and 2019. Brian.
So, since he did 2 of them, does that mean it's
Just 1 point.
right? But so it goes back to the last 10 pitchers that pitched.
Yes, last 10 opening days starting pitchers, like 10 different players.
Yeah, gotcha. How about let's go back a little ways to James Shields.
James Shields in 2014 is correct. Well done.
2014.
Back to Kitty. That was 2014. Yep.
I'm gonna go with Greinke.
Greinke was in 2010. That's correct.
Nice.
Just
pull.
1 year.
I feel like one of these years, not too long ago, Danny Duffy.
Duffy, not too long ago, last year.
Yep.
There you
Indeed, not too long ago.
Well, I called it then.
You guys are rolling 4 for 4. Kitty, back to you.
go. This is where I fall apart.
Yeah, this is where my memory goes to crap.
Who was good in 2018? Oh, let's see here. God, this is.
We may have some embarrassing ones on this list too if you're going to 10 back.
There's one that there's no chance that you're getting.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, how far?
Sounds like a challenge.
I would love for you guys to prove me wrong. I will also say 18, let's see, 18 and 17 were both Duffy as well. So yeah, you've already got 18 and 17.
Well, that's
And 19, 20.
Yeah, you've got the last 5 years covered.
Oh, we're going way back then.
You might.
Well, let's go far back. Let's go. That's bad.
Just do
Daryl
it.
May.
Wow.
Daryl May is not on this list, but I
Ugh.
love that he's a guest. That's great.
He was. That's a ways back.
That is a ways back. That came up the other day when it was May Day, or it's going to be May. Shout out to Royals Review. Very good.
Good old Daryl May.
Brian?
How about Gil Mesh?
Gil Mesh, 2007, 8, and 9 is on this list.
We going way back, baby.
But he's not the earliest player on this
Oh,
list.
great. Yes, that's what I want to hear.
All right, Kitty, back to you.
Let's see. So we're still looking for 15 and 16. Who wasn't terrible back then? Man, that's right in the heart of the World Series run. God, who would have been the 2015 guy? God, this is bad.
We did have some big names on that starting roster, the starting rotation.
Oh, my brain has gone to mush. My old age. I'm gonna go farther back and go with Renelvis Hernandez.
Yeah, you are.
Good guess. Not on this list either.
I had his name written down.
So 2 strikes for Kitty. Back to Brian.
How about old Eddie Volquez?
Volquez, 2016. Good
Great.
one.
Good man.
He was 16. So
Yep.
we still haven't got 15.
Not 15 yet. And 15, honestly, really surprised me.
I mean, there were some very uninspiring names.
Mm-hmm. Sure were.
Kind of been the Royals pitching staff for a while.
Kitty, we are back to you. We're on. Nope,
Yeah.
we're not on hint mode yet.
Yeah, I'm just the only idiot so far.
Sure. Usually it's me.
Oh, good Lord. So glad I got the first 2 right. I didn't look really stupid.
Right. you got the layups.
I give you bonus points for saying Daryl May,
I
even though
appreciate
it wasn't a right answer.
I appreciate the half point for Daryl May.
Yep.
The real May.
Like he did it. I'm trying to think of stupid names that
I need an answer.
did it. Oh, I cannot think of anybody.
No Royals pitcher. You don't have any Royals pitchers.
It's a real problem in my head. Jeff Supan.
Good guess, but he is not on this list either.
That's way too far back. I think he probably would have been if he'd gone back 20 starters.
He is a Royals pitcher.
He was a Royals pitcher. That's correct. Okay, so Brian's winning this week. He's still got 4 names to cover and no options yet. He could do this.
How
He's
about
been
let's
good.
go back to that disaster of an opening day that Luke Hochaver had.
Hochaver, was that in 2011?
I don't remember what the year
That
was.
would be when he made the opening day starter. So
I think it was
yes.
7-0 in the first inning or something like that, if I recall.
I believe I walked into that game after it was already 7.
Let's go right back outside.
Yep.
Nice
Okay.
call.
So 3 more to go.
How about this? Maybe did they ever give him opening day? How about Yordano Ventura?
2015 was Giordano Ventura opening
Out
day.
there. Man,
Great job. All right.
nice work.
We only have
Yep.
2 more names left.
2 more names.
This
You
is
have
where I'm
3
getting
options.
dried up.
Good job.
Oh God. Because now we're probably going way back, aren't we?
Because, yeah, we've got 20, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 16.
Yeah,
down.
you'll I mean, there's still one that's within the last 10 seasons and one that's not.
2013 is still out there.
How about let's go way back. Scott Ellerton.
Scott Ellerton, 2006. Correct.
Bang.
Oh!
I cannot believe you got Scott Ellerton. Unbelievable. How did you do that?
And this will this the most obvious one that people are screaming. This is going to be the one that I'm going to try on.
You got
I
one
don't know
left.
if it's that obvious, but the Scott Ellerton thing, it was wild. That's wild to me.
So it's the 2013 opening day starters who we're looking for.
Oh no.
Incredible.
Oh, I
Incredible.
think I've got an idea.
Oh God.
Save it because teamwork's coming.
I've got an idea.
It is confirmed as 2013.
This is
Base-
2012.
Oh.
I must have missed it.
2013 was Shields as well.
Oh,
He did
yeah.
13 and 14. I'm sorry.
2012.
Yep, this is 2012.
Oh no. I'm really running dry here. I don't think he was here. How about Urban Santana?
Scott Ellerton. I cannot believe that. It is not Herb Santana, but I do appreciate the guess there.
Okay.
One option.
All right. And I need some help, so I'm just going to go ahead and just throw a name out there and say Jeremy Guthrie.
Okay, not Guts.
Okay.
Don't know if I'm going to be any help.
So
Okay.
the missing year is 2012, which we know, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Problem, I was thinking 2013. I was thinking old Lima time.
Oh. Would
way
have been
he-
something.
Captured the city in 2013.
Right.
Bad team that won games.
I mean, Lima did start 2005, so you're almost. He was number
Not
11.
even the right era.
Well, he was number 11, so it was
Okay.
it was a lot closer than you thought.
So are you giving
Um,
hints?
I am. He was 35-year-old lefty when he made his opening day start. the Royals.
35-year-old lefty. Oh God.
Who's that?
And this is teamwork, Kitty. So if you got a name,
Yeah. I'm thinking.
What number did he wear?
I can tell you that.
35-year-old lefty.
He was
2000.
52.
Had to just be some terrible signing that just
Born in Panama.
got off.
What were his dimensions?
6'2", 215.
Oh,
6.
Jose Rosado. Was he that too early? Is he way farther back?
Hell, that's a good name that I'm gonna come up with. Let's say it, Rosado.
Bruce Chin.
Ow!
Oh, Chin music.
Born in Panama.
That's right. Chin's in
I did
Panama.
not know that.
You really threw for a loop there.
Yep.
Bruce Chin's 6'2".
Apparently,
Wow.
He really wears it well.
Baseball References a bunch of liars on that front.
Chin music. Got an
Chin
opening day
music.
start, huh?
Yep, 2012.
Good for him.
Man, you guys did. I thought you were going to get Shin before you got Scott Ellerton. That is
What
still
What a pull. What an
wild to
amazing
me. Absolutely wild to me.
pull. That was impressive.
Well done. I thought I don't know how many people were screaming Scott Ellerton. Might have had a few screaming Bruce Chin.
That's true.
Maybe.
I know guys were screaming Edison Volquez at me while I was naming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That might be a
First player.
name that I always loved watching him pitch, but I don't know. I don't know if I would ever really think of him as one of the guys you would think of when you think of Royal starters.
Right.
He
Just
was
'cause
he was integral in those World Series runs, but
And he was kind of like most important right before that
Yeah.
time
yep,
because he wasn't really like a big factor in the playoffs necessarily.
he
Kind of
pitched a hell of a game one though.
Guthrie was kind of in that kind of
Yep.
same like ballpark of
Right.
he really helped him get there, but he pitched in the 2014 a few times though.
Yep.
Because he got in that hot water for wearing the shirt that these O's ain't loyal or whatever.
Yeah.
Why would he get in hot water? Because he wasn't doing much to help them with that.
He was a traitor. He was a Baltimore Oriole for years.
What have you done for me lately, Brian? What
That's
have
right.
you done for me lately?
The O's did nothing for him.
We got another fun, kind of along the same lines, waiver wire draft coming up here. Royals fans are really gonna dig it. So let's get into that now.
Watch your waiver wire.
So along the same lines of random Royals pitchers from the past. We're just doing random Royals. We're gonna draft our favorite random Royals. It could be a no-name dude that you just love their name, or it could be a big name that you completely forgot played for the Royals. We could do either one, but it's always fun to do these random Royals challenges on social media. But I've never been involved with any of them. I'm probably gonna show a little bit of age on my fandom with some of these because I already know that some people know these guys that I had no idea were on the roster. But we're gonna go. Brian's gonna win the week here. I'm gonna go next, and then Kitty's gonna go. So Brian, go ahead and lead us off with your first random Royal.
Okay, random Royal. My first place my mind goes is just guys that were like played 1 year here or maybe 2 years at the end of the career, and you're just like, when you're a fan of baseball, you're just like, I watched this guy be really good for years, and now we're getting him at the end when it's just sad. But you just in the back of your mind, you hope, well, maybe he can just recapture that magic for a year. In 2004, we brought in Juan Gonzalez.
Yep.
And Juan Gonzalez was one of my favorite players to watch for the Rangers. I mean, this guy would hit 40 home runs just seemingly year after year after year. And we brought him in. He was 34 years old. So,
Yeah.
I mean, at least that's what the birth certificate said. 34 years old. You think he's 34. I mean, he's not like dead. Maybe he could rally and get you something, a little something. We got him on a 1 year, $4 million deal. I mean, that's reasonable. 2004. But then we got 33 games out of him and 5 home runs.
Oh God.
And then after that, he had 1 plate appearances with Cleveland and was done forever. So Juan Gonzalez, hardly knew you, but I had big hopes when you came in at 34 years old and you were going to hit 40 home runs, and the Royals were finally going to have a 40 home run hitter.
Oh yeah.
He was an RBI machine.
Oh yeah.
I was so pumped when they signed him. I thought he was going to be so good.
Long gone.
That's always a good go-to to really like fake a fandom, like fake how like knowledgeable you are, is to pull out the Juan Gonzalez was a Royal that one time.
Yep.
I think that's always a good
Oh,
go-to.
there are many on my list that fall in this same category that some might not even know about.
I'm gonna go along the same vein here with guys that I did not know until today that in 1998 the Royals signed a 37-year-old Terry Pendleton.
Yep.
Oh,
Wild. I had no idea that Terry Pendleton played for the Royals.
He was second on my list, Josh.
Okay. Well, I got good value then. Really good value. Still put up, what was it, a 637 OPS for him at 37 years old, 1998. That's not bad.
His OPS plus was 65, so not great.
Not good. Not great. Yeah. Very, very below average, but he's 37 years old.
I know. And I wanted to
what you
I
want from him.
loved Terry Pendleton because like when you during that time, like you didn't get to see Royals games on TV unless it was nationally broadcast. So you got to watch the Braves or the Cubs or whoever they were playing every once in a while. And so like early 90s, Terry Pendleton was like Tony Gwynn. I mean, he won an MVP by just hitting the shit out of the ball, led the league back-to-back years in hits like Witt does. So, I mean, I was so stoked when we got him. And then it was just like, he's just a shell.
Just a shell. Purely a shell.
Pendleton.
that was definitely Braves could suck it. I'm a Cubs fan.
We went the other way.
Cable Cubs fan over here. So I
Yep.
was all about Ron Day and Ryan Sandberg and Shawan Dunston.
I will say that he did get negative 0.7 WAR, so not completely below, not super below average, not like you would expect a 37-year-old to do. But I mean,
I think he was primarily DH too.
I think so too. You can only hurt him so much when you're only batting with a 62 WRC plus. Kitty, random Royal number 1 for you.
I'm gonna go more of the came up, burned bright, burned fast, and was gone quick. And my number 1 is Mark Quinn.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the mighty Quinn. Oh, how he was before his time, because nobody got cheated out of it, or Mark Quinn never got cheated out of a swing. 0-2 count, I'm swinging for a 500-foot home run.
Yep.
3-0 count, I'm swinging for a 500-foot home run. This is it. I'm either going to hit the ball really far or swing right through it, and I couldn't get enough of that because the times he did run into the ball, it was fantastic.
Yep.
Just glorious stuff. So
He's Peter O'Brien.
yeah, exactly. He's what is it? Joaquin Phoenix from Signs. Swing away.
Yeah. Swing away, Merrill.
That's right.
So
That's
I
a good
love
pick.
Mark Twin. 99 to 02, 4 years of swinging about as hard as he could.
Mhm.
Saw him one time at Callie's. Looked like a pretty cool dude.
I like that.
Tell him you're a big fan. You'd be one of the only people, I'd bet.
I tried to. He just ignored me.
Oh, it's
Big time me. That's all right. What are you gonna do?
No longer
Yeah.
the Mighty Quinn at that point.
no.
I think it was a tail end of his career. He knew he was.
Ah. Starts the second
And
round off.
My second pick, very similar as a player. I'm gonna go Aaron Guile.
Yep,
Mhm.
he's on my list.
I love me some Aaron Guile. And one of the my favorite quotes from him was when they were playing the Giants. Barry Bonds was in town. You know, the fly ball out to right field. Guile's out in right. Bonds on second base. And Bonds tags up. It's a pretty deep ball out to right field. And Bonds isn't running hard. And Guile just launches the ball for third. Overthrows the bag somehow from as deep as it was. And the quote after the game was, "Why did you try to throw him out?" He goes, "I saw he wasn't running hard. I don't stand for loafers."
Aaron Guile don't play that shit. He keeps
Aaron
it real.
Guile calling Barry Bonds a loafer. That is just fantastic. So right there, I was okay.
Canadian.
I'm a huge fan, Aaron Guile. You can do whatever you want the rest of your career. Just keep being you. I just love it.
Played in the 2006 WBC.
Yeah, he did.
Really? Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I did not know the World Baseball Classic was around in 26. Was that one of the first ones, right?
Hell, you'd think so.
God, I think that was the first one.
When you went 2 for 9. Go Canada.
Oh,
Huge one.
Canada.
I'm gonna go next. Do I go with another guy? No, I'm gonna go somewhere else. A name. Honest to God, I'd never heard of this player ever in my life. Played second baseman for the Royals. Was the opening day second baseman in 1996. So right in the heyday, right when they were coming down from their big cloud and in the big runs. Bip Roberts.
He's on my list.
Not a name I have ever heard in my life. I'm gonna hand up. Never heard Bip Roberts. I saw Royals Review tweeted about him tonight, so it was very strange that it actually happened. But first time I ever seen him, came to Kansas City during a long, pretty solid MLB career. But he was 5'7", 150 pounds. That's like Squints Papadorus from Sandlot. That is not
Palladorus?
big.
I just remember Bip Roberts of the Royals. That's kind of right. That was senior year of high school into freshman year of college. So they're kind of really paying attention a lot to the Royals baseball team.
Mhm.
Bip Roberts, I remember that. Remember him being here. just Bip. What a great name. Bip.
Bip is a great name. Yep. 313. I'm sorry, 283 average. Pretty solid. I mean, 69 WRC plus. So he was a very he hit like a 5'7", 150 pound guy.
Light hitting 283.
Yeah. Oh, Fangraphs has him 5'7", 165. Maybe he did the Whit Merrifield diet. Never know.
All that protein, all those eggs.
That's right. Oh, good old Bip Roberts. Give me my second pick. Brian, what's your
Shout out.
second pick?
Similar to my first pick, you said Terry Pendleton brought in at 37. Well, in 2013, we brought in 39-year-old Miguel Tejada, a guy that had just been mashing balls his entire career.
Yeah.
He actually had a nice year for them. He
Yep.
played 91 games, mostly at third base, had a 288 average, 317 OBP, 90 OPS plus. I mean, that's not bad. And he's 39 years old.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was a glaring hole at third base at that time, waiting on Moustakas to be ready to play for that team. So they bring in that old bastard, and he played really well for us.
I was really hoping. Did they end up trading him at the deadline? I was hoping they would get something back for him, but I don't think they did. I think it was maybe cash.
Did they? I can't imagine they actually got something back for.
Just 2013.
Yep.
No, he did not play for anybody but the Royals that year. Yeah,
Shock.
not too great.
All right, let's make the turn here, and we're gonna make a turn for the dark side as well because I'm taking Ambiorix Burgos. Ambulance
Oh, God.
Burgos is some. He came in. I
Buckle
think
up.
the Royals signed him as a 20-year-old, just kind of off the street, seemed like. And so he pitched on the majors at age 21 and 22 here. The guy was a flamethrower. He didn't have any clue where it was going when he threw it, but everyone just had to watch when this guy pitched. Became the closer his second year. Just, you had to watch him. But we stunk back those days, so we traded him to the Mets. We might have saw some red flags character-wise. We got back Ryan Bannister, which is the opposite of red flags character-wise. So we got a win there because he played for the Mets for 1 year, and then he became a certified scumbag. In 2008, he gets arrested for beating up his girlfriend. And in between there and his court date, I'm guessing he's out on bond or whatever, he goes to the Dominican Republic in 2008 and indicted on charges of hit and run in his native Dominican Republic for a hit and run where he killed two ladies.
Mm-hmm.
Drove off, left him,
Ugh.
turned himself in October, and then he went to jail for the previous domestic incident with his girlfriend, spent 9 months in jail, got right out of jail in 2010 and said, hey, let me kidnap and try to poison and kill my ex-wife. He gave his ex-wife rat poison, trying to kill her. He was charged with kidnapping and attempted murder. So I think they got rid of him at just the right time.
Yeah, sounds like it.
You want to talk about a star that burned bright? A guy that could throw gas, and he was also just a terrible human being.
Sure.
Yeah.
Get him out.
That's tough.
Ambulance
tough.
Burgos.
Well, from there,
Call that one up.
let's time out for a second because the Royals did just tie it up at 7. 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. Jorge Soler hit a game-tying, bases-clearing double.
You're out of your mind.
to tie
We
the
just
game.
talked about him to pick it up. There you go.
Unbelievable. And the clearing waivers bump does it again. Let's see. Who do we need to? I mean, maybe Chris Bubich plays. He's probably pitching the 9th, and he'll blow that.
There you go.
That's how this is going to go. All right, back into the game here. I'm going to go with, you spoke about a turnstile guy at third base, Miguel Tejada. In the year 2016, year of our Lord 2016, there was a turnstile out in right field. I mean, we're fresh off the heels of the Nori Aoki experiment, rolled that right into Alex Rios experiment. And then we had somewhat of an old friend, the cousin of an old friend, the cousin of Carlos Beltran, Mr. Raymond Fuentes. Started for the Royals in right field of all places. Played 12 games. Remember him having a pretty solid spring training, but he was always just a light hitting outfielder who had a bit of speed. He was never going to be Carlos Beltran, but maybe you could squint and see something. No, after 12 games, they realized that was probably not going to do it. And then they turned their reins over to Paulo Orlando, Gerard Dyson, Brett Eibner, Billy Burns, and then finally at the end of the year, Hunter Dozier got some reps in right field. That was the year of the right field turnstile in 2016. Kicked off by Raymond
Fuentes.
Raymond Fuentes.
There's a name I forgot all about.
Yep.
And that was only 2016.
Yep.
No idea who that guy is. I don't
Really?
I think you made him up. I think you just put in a MLB Latin name
generator.
Found out Raymond Fuentes came out for you. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yep. Yep. I like it. I thought maybe, if I squinted, I could see like maybe a center fielder in Raymond Fuentes. I was wrong. That was one of the first times and only times I've ever been wrong about anything. But old Ray Fuentes got me. Kitty?
Soler hit a 3-run homer in that game earlier.
Did he?
Oh, did it really?
That is awesome.
In the 8th inning, it was 7-3. Incredible.
All right. I'm going to go with some of the best facial hair you've
6
ever seen in a
RBIs.
baseball player, and that is Sal Fasano.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
And just a
Handlebar.
great Italian name, great just catcher.
Mhm.
You just like saying that guy's name.
Mhm.
Oh, Sal Fasano. Just a fun name to
Fasano.
say. And I mean, he had a full beard.
Fasano.
He had the full beard going with the Royals, and when he went to the Yankees, that mustache was beautiful. One of
Absolutely.
the only few benefits of the Yankees no beard policy is when guys go, "Well, I'm still keeping a mustache,"
Yeah.
and they go with just creep stash for the longest time.
Who is the is it Mike Ford? Who's the current first baseman for the Yankees filling in for
Voigt's
Voight?
back now.
I don't know.
Voight is back. Is Mike Ford. He has like a Tom Selleck, big old bushy. It
Oh.
was awesome. Great stuff on that
That
guy.
is-
Broom.
I just love Sal Fasano, part of the lost years of '96 to '99.
Sure,
Basically-
the dark ages for
Yeah.
sure.
Most of my youth of the lost years of the Royals franchise.
Mm-hmm. I gotta
But
check
just-
out this mustache. Ooh boy. Ooh
Just-
boy.
Yeah, right. I just love Sal Fasano. Just loved him. That name, so good.
Wowza. Man, he's still rocking it. He's apparently Wikipedia says he was a minor league coach, and boy, has he still got that horseshoe. I love that horseshoe. All right, Kitty, turning.
For my last pick, I'm gonna go someone that just made a quick pit stop in the middle of their career at the Royals, and that is outfielder Coco Crisp.
Yes.
I was a huge Coco Crisp fan. I
Me
loved that.
too.
I loved him being on the Royals. That was
Mm-hmm.
so much fun. Just got that weird left stance where he's really just digging his chin into his right shoulder. Just
Uh-huh.
good times.
And we were
Solid
such
player.
craving a leadoff and a
Yep.
center fielder. It was like, oh,
Yes.
this guy checks both those boxes.
We're ready. This is it. This is a turnaround. 2009.
He was only
This is the year-
29 years old at the time, too.
Yeah.
This is the
I
year
was
for the
pumped.
Royals. We got this. This is it. We're doing it. And then it was the Royals in 2009. So.
Yeah.
We know what happened.
One of the weirder parts about that is that was 5 years removed, or 5 years before the 2014 wild card game, where didn't he score like 3 times or something like that in that wild card game?
Good.
Hmm.
Got me.
I probably made that up, but it
Against
seemed like
us?
he used. Yeah.
I just remember Brandon Moss hit 2
Yes.
absolute monster shots against us.
Sure did. That's I probably made that up. I'm making up a lot of
Wait, no.
stats tonight, so
He was playing in Oakland 2014 and 15.
yes,
so.
I know he was in Oakland, but I don't know how many times he scored that game.
Weird number to throw out there.
Irregardlessly,
Regardless, yeah, it's true.
Goku Chris, I was very, very much in on that game for sure.
I love Coco.
Not that game, that signing. Let's see.
I
He
mean,
only
just
scored
one year,
once, 3 strikeouts.
just there for 1 year, just in the middle of his career, just kind of a random pit stop in KC, and then moved.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Had a 3 in there though.
Did have a 3 in there. He had a run, an RBI, 2 hits, and 6 plate appearances. That team also had Johnny Gomes, Brandon Moss, had Alberto Callaspo, which is another name that we throw around in this little draft we're
Could be
doing.
part of
here.
this draft. Sure.
Jason Hamill, yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of variable who's who of former and future Royals on that A's team for sure. I'm gonna round out my draft with a little bit of domestic issues, a little bit of problem child as well with old Chucky Knobloch in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
He ended his 12-year career in Kansas City, and he was Nicky Lopez bad.
Yeah, he was.
He was always synonymous with the yips,
Yep.
going from really good defensively to not at all. Admitted to using HGH and also admitting that they didn't help him whatsoever. He said he hit his worst average of his career, and he also got big time injured that year that he used them. So Yeah, HGH not always performance enhancing apparently, but
He couldn't even put HGH in his arm. He was so he had some chips.
yes, yep, he's probably gonna miss.
He couldn't even do that right.
Couldn't even do that right. But he also had multiple domestic abuse charges, including pleading guilty to choking his wife. So, also bad human being. Chuck Knobloch did have a really cool swing that he used to imitate, and that's about where his redeeming qualities stop.
I think that's about right.
Brian, bring us home with the final random royal.
Well, I'm going to bring us home really because this whole thing's going to come full circle on me. I said Solarity's pick it up, and who's been doing it for us all year in the pen? Scotty Barlow. Who's pitching right now in the ninth with 2 runners on? Scott Barlow. So we'll just wait back and see what happens here. But I'm going to go ahead and draft a player. Let's take it back for our older fans like my old ass when I was a kid. And it's the first and maybe the only Royals autograph I ever sought out and got. And that was when we got Gary Gaetti back in 1993.
The G-Man.
The California Angels just midseason just released him. Just said, go away. You're not good enough. He came here and had some good years.
Yeah.
He played here for 34 to 36 age seasons, 1993 to 1995. During that time, he had a 108 OPS plus. Final year in KC, he was 10th in MVP voting. And that's a guy that they just said, go on, get the California Angels. And Gary Gaetti, we just said, with arms wide open, come right on in, Gary Gaetti. And he played really well for us. I always liked to watch Gary Gaetti play. Could bash the ball.
10th in MVP voting in 95 for the Royals.
That's what I just said.
As a 36-year-old.
Yep.
I mean, I mean, one of those old guys that just got a gun still, even though you're old as can be. Just that run him out there. He'll do his thing every day. Just can count on Gaetti to do what he needs to.
I mean, for years after that, we were looking for Gary Gaetti again, and we just couldn't find him until really Moose came around.
Yeah.
Tried to find. Well, then you find Bruce Atlantic was the next Gary Gaetti. Weird G last name. Just go with him next.
I love the Joker years. Joe Randa. I always loved Joe Randa.
Mark Tien was over there for a little bit.
Yep.
I found a picture of Gary Gaetti, his B-Ref profile picture.
He's got a handlebar.
I need you to see this because this looks like somebody that all of us are familiar with, and I cannot wait.
For Major League or Rookie of the Year?
Neither. Hold on. Tell me when you can see this.
Oh, shit. Oh.
Who does that look like?
I don't know.
Former co-host of the Clearing Waivers podcast, Rance Waite.
Oh, no.
Right there.
That's just rude. This will not end well.
He looks, I mean, does that face not scream, what are you doing?
There's a little rants in that face.
That's 100% Rance in that.
No John
100% Rance.
It's no John Ladd.
Rance doesn't listen to this.
That's true.
Fine. This is fun. That was fun. I do genuinely enjoy talking about all Royals names and faces of our fandom. Not very far back in the past we didn't go. And there was a lot of random Royals in those dark ages.
Yeah, I really found myself locked into that 96 to 04.
Yep.
For myself.
It's a relative gold mine for sure.
Like, did you know Hideo Nomo pitched here in 2008 at 39 years old?
I forgot about the pitcher for the Royals.
4.1 innings pitched, 9 earned runs. Never heard from him again.
Yep. Another one of those guys I was
reclamation project.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rick and Keel.
He had some kind of refound velocity or something they were all excited about. They were selling us a bill of goods and
4 innings. 4 innings.
I liked Ankiel. I liked Doug Minkiewicz.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Bring us all these washed up bastards.
I was a big fan of Mike Jacobs when he showed up because he was a 30 home run hitter, and then he just hit like 219.
Kai Hui. He was going to be the next big basher.
Yep.
They never gave Calvin Pickering a chance.
Yeah. D. Brown. Speaking of power hitter.
John Nunnally.
Nunnally.
Great names.
Emil Brown.
Tim
Bring 'em all.
Belcher.
He was good for like 2 years for us.
Kevin McReynolds I liked as well.
That's a good name too.
Yeah.
Oh, who was that? Greg Jeffries?
Oh,
yes. Greg Gaga.
Yeah.
Yep. Not 3 G's, 2.
And I always mixed up, let's see, Ryan Healy, Mike Jacobs, and Ross Glode were like 3 first basemen that I was really hoping would pan out there right in a row between Minkiewicz and I think Billy Butler started after that. So 3 first basemen that I was really looking forward to seeing and didn't really pan out.
Yeah, I really wanted Kai Hui to be somebody because
Yep.
he was just a fun guy and he was a monster at the plate.
Great name to say all the time too.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to do it for the Clearing the Waivers podcast this week. We appreciate you joining us for another episode. We appreciate you joining us for any episode. Let's be honest here. We would appreciate if you could go give us a review on the iTunes. Go give us a like and a follow on the social medias. Go subscribe to the YouTube channel where you can see our faces every week. It's glorious. Let me tell you, you can see all the things that we're doing behind the scenes as we're looking for facts to check. But we would appreciate any more support that you can give us. Share it with a friend. We always appreciate it. Go check out the great work over at royalsreview.com. Hopefully there's going to be a good outcome tonight. And Scott Barlow is not going to give up a game walk-off.
Definitely not.
Didn't. Okay. Well, we'll see how it goes. We'll talk to you next week. Pop off for now.
Strike 3 called. It's over.